Yo! What's going on YouTube? I'm Deontay.
And I'm Amanda.
And welcome back to the Sin Scrambling channel. Today we're going to do a little conversation, a little talk with you guys while we eat some delicious food. You know what I'm saying? We got the DiGiorno pizza with the pizza wings.
This is our favorite. It's sparkling Welch's, the red grape.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's non-alcoholic, so yeah.
I guess it's called a mukbang.
Yeah,
what you would call
it's like
it.
a mukbang.
Pretty much. So our subject today we're going to talk about is pretty much like to share with you guys like our financial journey, individually and collectively, when we got married. So we'll pretty much share with you guys like all of our hardships that we had financially and how things turned around for us.
You want some of that?
Yeah.
I should have got some ice. Cause I don't
never drink that with ice.
Yeah, but it tastes so good.
Alright, so you want to start there? Want to share with them your journey?
So it all started when I was living in New York. Everything was okay, you know, the same struggle that everybody has when you're living in apartments and, you know, not where everybody want to stay, what people call the ghetto and stuff.
Project.
Yeah, so like food stamp, had housing.
Like Section 8.
Section 8, yeah, somewhat housing. Long journey, long story. We're gonna break it down. 2005 or I don't know, 2005. We had left and we moved to, me and my family moved to Hartford, Connecticut. We were staying there, same struggle. Fast forward to, we moved back up to New York and then we moved down to Virginia at one point. It was in 2008. And then after a while, I became homeless, jumping from house to house, we had barely any food and stuff like that.
Well, this was around the time that we met.
Yeah, we met back in 2008 when I was in middle school. But we was like stable. We had a pretty house, really nice house. I didn't have my real daddy. My stepdaddy came into my life. He was working and helped us out, helped to raise kids that weren't his. But anyway, so I became homeless, jumping from house to house, and I had no place to like, there was times we had no place to shower, no place to do anything, no place to eat. So my stepdad would find ways to get food. And if not, my mom was on food stamp where we were like eating cold food inside the car, sleeping in the car and stuff like that. And so he was my boyfriend at the time, and he used to pick me up. I used to go over his house to take a bath and stuff like that before school. It was just a lot, like
Pretty tough time.
a lot.
That's why I say we're probably a lot different from a lot of other people because we've had some real struggles in a lot of different areas. Our love story, how it all came together with finances and different stuff, how we kind of got, you know, how we kind of came through the struggle. So we went through a lot. So like basically during that time that she had that going on, like you said, I was her boyfriend, and during that time, I was helping as much as I could.
He was 17, 18, but at the time when it got worse, where we was homeless, he was 18. Mm-hmm. And he was working in full-time job, you know, not the best money, but decent money for a single person, like, you know, like somebody who don't have any responsibility, is what I mean.
Yeah.
But anyway, like there were times where he had to like help my family pay the rent to our house, not his house. He would let my mom all the time use the car. And let me mind you, we're not saying this because we feel like we need to tell out our business. We're just saying this because people who don't know me, they always think that we had it like made and stuff like that. But that's not the case. We definitely have a story that nobody knows, or a lot of people who just don't know us to know. And you know, we don't really share it, but
this is our first time really opening up, you know, and share like our story with you guys.
We won't open up too much where we put our business out, but enough to know, you know, everybody's struggle, like
yeah. To speed it up, pretty much. Like you said, during that time I was helping out as much as I could. Of course, I couldn't help her so much, but I did help. And as far as her, I always make sure she was taken care of.
And he drove me to school all the time.
Yeah.
I used his car to drive to school.
Yeah.
I didn't have to ride the bus.
I would give her money, to help her out, whatever she may need.
Wow, babe, you said they were mild, but
I
they
told
don't
you
even taste like that.
Yeah. But yeah, so pretty much like that's was like the first part of it. But me, I was pretty stable. I had my mom and dad. I never dealt with like being homeless or Section 8 or anything. I was in a home. Thank God that I was fortunate. But yeah, she wasn't, and she went through a lot. And I always had a big heart, and I do now. And I loved her a lot, so I helped out and did what I could. Fast forward, she ended up moving out of her mom's house around 16, 17. Me and my parents had a home we lived at all my years growing up, and then they ended up finding a house later on down the line somewhere else that they wanted to stay. So they moved from the old house into a new house, and they left that house to me to rent out. So she lived in there with me, her, and my daughter, and we stayed in that house. Finances was okay, but it wasn't the best. Like, the thing about during that time was we had enough to get by. Of course, I had a lot of leeway because my dad was my landlord. So if I was struggling, if I didn't have like enough money or something, he wouldn't like kick us out. He would just be like, all right, just pay what you can, pretty much. He would always help us out. But we never could really have wants, like anything we really wanted. I remember one Christmas, we just had like a short little Christmas tree. Is all we could even afford. Like, we couldn't even get a regular Christmas tree. It was like just a little baby one. And we didn't even really have any presents either.
We took on responsibility
pretty early.
Everybody has a choice. We didn't have to do that. I could have just lived with my mom and he could have just lived with whatever. But we were together for so long and we had our first child. We were very much in love.
We was ready just to do a family thing.
Do our own thing, yeah. So we took that on, but if you guys knew like all the entire story and like every bit of detail that we've been through.
Yeah, like it was pretty rough, like. Yeah. But little did we know, the only good thing was I was still able to get some things because my credit was A1. Like during that time I had really good credit. So I could pretty much get what I wanted. I had like 5 or 6. Well, I couldn't get what I wanted because I had already maxed them out because I was just young and dumb with credit cards. So that's why we couldn't really get our wants. Some things was gotten, I guess, because I had like 5 different store cards and like a major credit card, and I was just swiping. But eventually, it caught up with us. And this fast forwards to when we moved out of that house. We ended up moving to a different location, a little ways away. My cousin ended up hooking me up with a job. So we moved out there. That's when it really got real.